Morning, YouTube. Well, today I am overlooking New Salem, North Dakota, and it's the preeminent dairy area. As I look around, there's dairy farms, dairy farms, dairy farms everywhere. And why would I stop here? Well, that's because of Sue. I don't even know if you can see all of her. Sue is the world's largest Holstein. She's 38 feet high and 50 feet long. She's put here in 1974 at a cost of $40,000 that they got from the local businesses and dairy farmers. And she weighs 12,000 pounds. Which, when you look at the size of her, compared to the size of my bus, that weighs 23,000 pounds. So, this is pretty impressive Holstein here. Now back on the road. Let's see what I can find. Morning, YouTube. Well, today I am at a North Dakota historic site. It's a Mandan Village. It was carbon dated to around 1200. It has some unusual features, and I'm going to take a look at it. I don't know how much of this is, really going to interest anybody, because there's not a whole lot here, but except for a lot of history. And I'm not sure if you can see it here, but see this different colored green ditch? This used to be 5 foot deep and 20 feet wide, and there was a wooden palisade that went around, and it had these little bump outs or bastions that surrounded the village. It encompasses about 1.5 acres, and over the other side here, in fact, the other side of the village, they built it up against the creek here, and as you can see, it drops off pretty far and pretty fast. So this would have been hard for enemies to climb up, and the palisade would have protected the other side. It was made up of like 800 posts, about 8 inches in diameter. So it's very unusual in that they used, that they had the wooden palisade, that the fact that it's not against a major river like the Missouri is not that far away. But there's other interesting features of this that aren't common. They think that the people who lived here may be ancestors of the Mandan, for like that Lewis and Clark stayed with up north of here, and at Fort Mandan. But they built square and rectangular buildings, and here they had oval buildings. Now this is an excavation pit from 1936, and they didn't backfill like we do today after they were done. But that would have been the floor. There was a ramp coming in, and it was sunken in a dome shape. So it was an oval shaped house, which is rather unusual, and sort of makes you wonder why this was like this. So less obvious than that pit house is that they had several structures built at surface level, and they've got there's over in that area that burned, but they were able to, when they did find that, when they excavated, they were able to find out that the beams were made out of elm, and that they had earth covered, and so when it did burn, it fired that clay and the earth into a harder material, so they were able to find it. The people here did a lot of tools and such made out of flint. There is some flint about 30 miles away, but it's not the best quality. But the Knife River flint is about 60 miles away, and they use that a lot. But they also found artifacts here. They found some things made of obsidian. Nearest source for obsidian would be over in Yellowstone, which is 520 miles away. They also found some native copper that were the nearest source of native copper would have been up in the UP of Michigan, where we were, a few weeks ago. That's like 350 miles away. They also found some things made out of shell, and those were from the Gulf Coast. So, looking at what, 1,200 and something, 1,300 miles. So how did all that get up here? I mean, these people didn't usually venture that far away. They might have gone get the flint, but they weren't going all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. Well, back then, between the different tribes, there was trading going on all the time, and it's possible that things got traded sort of, what do they call it, down the line trading, where somebody on the Gulf Coast trades with somebody a little bit farther inland, and so on and so forth, and eventually it makes it here. I'm sure there were people back then who just had the wanderlust and became traders. They would travel from maybe different routes, maybe meet up with other traders and trade a lot of things. Not just today that people just get the itch and want to wander. So, well, that's going to conclude my visit here to Mandan Village. Like I said, there's not a whole lot here to see, but if you're a history buff like me and always interested in what people can tend to think of as prehistory, in other words, before a white man wrote it down, things happened. But this place is sort of interesting, is it gives me a little look at what was going on here 600 years before white men really showed up in the area. And my pet theory, and they didn't say it anything here, oval houses that aren't really characteristic of anything around this area sort of makes me think back to the runestone and the fact that the Vikings were not that far away, really. And when they explore, and they may have stumbled onto Missouri, may have come down this way, maybe decided to stay. Think about Viking homes. Tended when they would dig them down in, they would tend to be oval shaped, like a boat. It's my own personal theory. No basis in any information I got here. But in any case, if you do come here, wear good shoes. They mowed the area, but that just means the cactus there is mowed down to about that tall. It's everywhere. Between the grass, the cactus, and the thistles, wear some good shoes. So I'm going to get back on the road. I think the next video, we're going to look at somebody a little bit more current. You might actually have seen this guy. Oh, see you later, YouTube. I'll get back on the road. Where's the beef? Yeah, some of this video is just utterly ridiculous.